Hey everybody, welcome to Song of the Week. Today's Song of the Week is going to be Silverlit Night. I want to perform it for you first, and then I'm going to break it down for you. It's a really pretty song, and it looks really difficult, but let me show you how you can look at this song and make it really easy. All right, let's take a look. Over here you have the practice mode, and if you go to the minced slicing, you'll see section A, and this first one is just the right hand, and you'll see it's just this chord right here. There are only 3 notes. I know it looks like a lot. There's only 3 notes here in this first line, and let me show you where those are. It is just this chord. And that's it. You find that chord, and you know the whole thing. Now, can you tell me what that chord is? It's got an E, a G, and a C. It is not your E chord because that would be there. What it is it's an inverted chord. So if I put this C back down on the bottom, you should recognize it as your C chord, but in the first inversion. So we put that C on top. And it always goes up the hill. Really easy? Okay, the next section, this is on the second line here, and you'll see it has the exact same pattern. It's just stepping up, 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 up. So you go up the hill, and you do it again, and you do it again, up the hill, up the hill, up the hill, up the, no hill on that one. Anyway, down here, you'll see this chord. So you've moved from a C chord, going up the hill over and over, to the G7 chord. Do you want to know why it's called the G7 chord, or is that too much information? Let's just tell you. Okay, this is a C chord. Your G chord, you know, is just like that. So C, D, E, F, G. Now notice that this had an F in it. So if I put that F on the top, you have what's called a 4-note chord, G, B, D, F. Instead of a triad, it's a 7 chord. And they call it a 7 chord because it has the interval of a 3rd, a 5th, and a 7th. And that gives it a pull between these 2 notes to want to resolve home back to your C chord. So it's the F and the B that cause that pull. Resolve. So if you have it here, it wants to resolve there. If you have it here, it wants to resolve there. All right, so the first chord was the C major, and then we go to the 5-7 or that G7. And believe it or not, that's all you have to learn for this song, except for in one section. Let me show you the left hand really fast. Okay, so now we've talked about the right hand. The next thing you'll do is go to the left hand, and this one you're gonna love because all you do is walk down the hill, C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G. Then it changes and goes up 1 step to the D, C, B, A. Looking at the piano, you just walk down 4 steps. Do it again. And then you go up a step to the D and do the same thing there. Hope that looks easy. Move up to the D and change your chord. Okay, then we get to that next section. Did you see a pattern? It just walks down the same way as before, but just with your thumb this time, because we need our pinky every other note to go back down to that C, and we're just rocking back and forth. What happens when you go to the new chord? Well, you do the same pattern. So it just does that walking down. And that is 80% of the song. The next thing you have is the B section. Let's see if we can find that in the software. Come over here to the practice mode and go to the B section, and it's just the right hand. Let me show you this one, because this one actually is a little bit more complicated. Let me show you what it looks like real fast down here, and then I'll break it down for you. I hope that looked really hard. Let me show you how easy it is, though. Do you recognize this first chord? What's the C chord? Remember that C was just moved to the top. And then what happens if you move that E to the top? It's still a C chord. You just are now in second inversion. So this was first inversion. Move that to the top, and you have second inversion. So you've got. And then we do the same thing, moving it from second inversion. Move that to the top, and you have. You're back to root position. So that's your regular C chord. So you start on second inversion. So let's do both of those. And then we do the same thing, moving from second inversion to the first, or root position. While your left hand is just doing this. C, B, A, G. So it's just walking down the hill, like always, just starting at the bottom one this time. And then the fun part, out of nowhere comes an A flat major chord. What is that A flat chord? This is actually really fun in the left hand. And then you move up a step, and then up another step. Cross over and step down, and then you start to the end. What does the left hand or right hand do on that? Unfortunately, I don't have any easy ways to help. You just have to learn these notes. C chord to end it. Luckily, you got to do that again. Now, how do you make it pretty? So, we always want to aim for musicality when we perform these pieces. In this song, it's a very pretty song, so you have to worry about, and there's no melody. This is what's called a character piece. It's just kind of sound. It's a pretty sound, and it develops a type of environment. So you don't want to do this. It gets real obnoxious. You need to decide which is the most important note. In this case, it's just that left hand walking down the hill. You want to keep that right hand flowing and smooth and light. work on that until you get just the right feel that you'd like. Also, you can do it metronomically, tick, 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 and it gets kind of mechanical. In order to get away from that, you'll want to pull and push the rhythm a little bit. Let me show you how to do that. It's called rubato. If I did it with a metronome, it'd go da 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 dun, da 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 dun. But if I do it where I'm getting slower and faster, it sounds like this. Watch, I'll speed it up just a little bit. And I'll slow it down a bit. You might want to practice just being ridiculous with, I don't do this in performance, but just as a practice to get used to rubato, I'll go overboard. Now the trick to rubato is to make it so it sounds smooth, not jerky. When you first try it, it's gonna sound jerky like this. Yeah, I'm pulling and pushing the speed, but it doesn't sound smooth. It's because it's like a rubber band. You stretch a rubber band. If you drew lines on a rubber band, you know what happens when you stretch that? You can see everything's pulling at an equal distance. So the ends are actually a little bit closer together. When you're doing a phrase, you speed things up in the middle and slow things down at the end like this. At the end of the phrase, notice I started getting a little slower. At the beginning, I start off slow, speed up in the middle, and come back slower at the end. You do the same thing in this part. And then we'll speed back up. Slow back down. And I'd put a big ritardando at the end. And then maybe a little at the end. No, I wouldn't do that. All right, enjoy Song of the Week. I hope you have fun learning some new musicality things this week. And post your video somewhere. Show it to a friend.